Hey, you, wherever you are in the world right now, thank you so much for being here with me. We know that we're living in some volatile times and we know that the world is changing. So let's create a bridge as we travel through one another's countries, removing all the labels and just coming together as one people, finding our home in one world. And as we do this, this is why our signature talk today, pandemic preparation, is so important. So settle in as we jump right into this podcast. Today, I am so excited to welcome my guest, Rachel Wilson. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, how are you? And I'm so excited to be here and thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you today. So, Dr. Rachel Wilson is a profound teacher, a prolific preacher, and a dynamic speaker who has more than 20 years of experience in ministry. Although Pastor Wilson's vision is broad, she teaches with one primary principle: kingdom living. She pushes all to pursue life and discover their divine purpose. Rachel is constantly igniting the fire and strengthening the inner soul of all to fight through life's obstacles and finish with expected victory. Rachel is driven by her passion to make a better people today in hopes of making a better world for tomorrow. I love that. She teaches various classes on leadership, mentorship, education coaching, family planning, financial freedom, and spiritual enhancement. Countless women have been restored and revived through her ministry. Workshops are hosted that focus on empowering women of today to take back their rightful place in their homes, their communities, and their workplaces. Rachel and her husband Ronald have been blessed with 3 sons, Ronald, Gabriel, and Pierre Wilson, and currently reside in North Carolina. Oh my goodness, you're an
Yes.
amazing, amazing woman.
Oh, wow. Thank you so
Oh.
much.
So, Rachel, tell us why it is so important to prepare for the pandemic.
Oh, man. It is so many reasons, but I'll try to stick with one. The main one that sticks out in the forefront of my mind would be for safety. One of the things that I believe all of us need to encourage each other, whether you're a neighbor, a friend, a family member, a spouse, to encourage safetyness during this time because I believe that safety is the key. I'm sorry about that. Safety is the key in us being able to what they were saying prior to this with the scientists and CDC to flatten the curve and bring us back to a balanced society because society right now is really not balanced due to unsafetyness. And the unsafetyness came from Americans not playing it safe. A lot of people, I don't know what you've heard or people that are listening right now, welcome you all as guests to listen in and thank you for listening. I don't know what you've heard, but a lot of people did not believe there was a virus. A lot of people didn't believe in the COVID. A lot of people thought it was just a scam. It was a hoax. It was connected with Trump trying to get reelected. I mean, all kind of crazy things that you wouldn't believe that is really out. And what happened is because they believed the wrong things, it caused them to practice being unsafe. And being unsafe mean not wearing a mask. Being unsafe mean not believing the truth. So if you don't believe the truth, you're going to believe a lie. You're going to believe something that's false. And that by itself will cause you to spread. That by itself can cause the spread of the virus. And so, yes, I want to say that in the area of just, and I want to encourage anyone out there that we have to practice being safe. You have to practice social distancing. This is just not something they're saying to take away our freedom. I personally do not like the mask because it makes it harder for me to breathe. It could be because I'm, about 5 months pregnant. I don't know. It's not necessarily comfortable, but it's safe. So we have to practice safety over uncomfortableness or what we don't like. I don't think it's too many people that just like wearing a mask. Just being honest, I would rather breathe in God's fresh air. But due to safetyness, I wear a mask. My 4-year-old wears a mask. We have multiple masks in our house. We have masks when we go out. We have masks when we go in. So I just want to say that let's as a whole nation try to practice being safe. Safetyness is key. If I'm safe and I'm protecting myself, I'm also protecting my neighbor who I don't know or any stranger. Yes.
I think I think that, many people are conflicted on what position to be aligned with because there's so much confusing information. And
Absolutely.
I know, just as a little girl growing up, it was always reinforced to wash your hands. Wash your hands before you put food in your mouth. Wash your hands, before you touch your face. So it's very intriguing, as adults that we're being re-instructed to wash our hands and create a situation where we have to be reminded to be, have precautionary safety, measures.
Absolutely.
I think, as you stated, you're 5 months pregnant. So for women that are pregnant, I think, this is also a time where they definitely need to be very concerned over their safety and take those extra measures for themselves. When you look at the world, I recently heard that there was a huge march in Germany because people are just rioting in the streets around the idea of being in quarantine and they don't want to do it anymore. And they're just tired. Yeah, people are very tired. People are tired of social distancing. They're tired of being told, what to do. I wonder, as your message of preparing for the pandemic, the safety is such a strong one, but what are some other ideas that you have as far as preparing for what is happening with our world and what continues to happen as things unfold?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Well, it's so, like I said, several things, but again, like I mentioned, safety was one of them. Another thing is preparing. We're going to have to prepare for what's already here. And I do understand what you mentioned on the tiredness. A lot of it comes from mental fatigue. And this is something that my husband have been teaching on, and we've been teaching on, me along with him, is there's a lot of people in the world right now, not just Americans, but like you said, Germany, across this nation, the world is at a place of mental fatigue. And when a person or people or culture get mentally fatigued, we begin to do crazy stuff. And so one of the examples is a child. When a child gets sleepy, when they get to the place of that mental fatigueness, that's when they begin to cry. That's when they begin to laugh. They crave sugar. They want to do all types of things because their body is shutting down. Their mental fatigue have set in. And what's happening with this nation, mental fatigue have set in. And now we're doing crazy things, like literally you're rioting because you're tired of being safe. That doesn't even make any sense, but it is a sign and a confirmation that mental fatigue have set in. So one of the things that I believe that we can prepare for it's many things that we can do, but one in particularly is prepare how to manage being home. I know that we are a nation, and I know we are a world that we're outgoing. This year, my family, we normally try to take 2 vacations a year. We didn't get our vacations this year. And oh my God, we so need our vacations. When you are married and you have children, you are a pastor over a people, you're doing many things, you're wearing many hats. You so look forward to those vacations. And really your vacation, you need a vacation. After vacation, you need a vacation. Really, you can't really get enough vacations just away from it all. So we felt the bump in the road with that. But would I prefer a vacation over being safe? So I feel like to stop the mental fatigue from coming in, that's what I would say. We need to be prepared, and how we can be prepared as a nation. We have to have preventative care so that we can stop the mental fatigue from coming in. Mental fatigue, when that set in, you don't care anymore. You won't wear a mask. You'll just go to Walmart, or you'll take your mask off too quickly. You would stop practicing Safetyness. It goes back to safetyness. You'll start opening the doors at Walmart without putting any hand sanitation gel on, because everybody can get tired of doing a certain thing. It's like a trend that comes out. When a trend comes out, it's fun at first. It's cool to wear a mask. It's cool to use hand sanitation. But after a few months set in, the mental fatigue can set in. And it's like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of wearing a mask. I'm sick of hand sanitation. I'm just going to go to Walmart. I'm not going to wash my hands. All of that is practicing the unsafetyness, and that's a sign of mental fatigueness. So one of the ways we can prepare against this mental fatigueness, we have to accept where we are as a nation today. I know that you don't want to accept that life as we know it is no more, but there is a new horizon. There is a new normal, is what I'm trying to say. We have to prepare our minds for the new normal. The world or the government or the CDC, the scientists, they're not trying to stop us from going to Walmart. They're not trying to stop us from doing what we like. Think about it. They're trying to save your life. We just got, me and my husband, it was like, it was after 1 a.m. We ended up going to bed really late. And my husband saw a text on his phone, and it was one of the members at our ministry that contacted my husband and just said his aunt passed with coronavirus. So we were getting ready to go into the bed, and we tend to go to bed late these times because we're home a lot, so sometimes we're getting up a little bit later, we're staying up a little bit later, we're doing multiple things, and we tend to go to bed later. And that was our news before we went to bed, was like, my aunt just passed of coronavirus. And we're like, oh my God, there's another person that have died and that is a victim to this virus that we know that are close proximity with us. And who knows, maybe they didn't practice safetyness. Who knows? Maybe they did practice being safe, but someone else had mental fatigue. Someone else gave them the virus. And that was the case for the situation that happened with a family member. It was someone else that did not practice safetyness that transferred it to another family member. And as a result, a couple of family members got it because someone else had mental fatigue. They don't care. They're just going to go around whatever family they want to go around and do whatever they want to do. And as a result of that, that's what's causing the spread of this virus. So I just want to say that I understand the pain. I am a outgoing person. I love life. I'm a happy-go-lucky spirit. I come from Arizona, so I'm used to the heat. So even though I don't like to dwell in the heat, I like outdoor things. I mean, I love it. I can go swimming. I like the beach. All of those things have been snatched from me as well. But I'm okay with the new normal. If I can survive this year, 2021, there's still a beach. The beach have not washed away. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if I have to sacrifice a vacation. It's okay if I can't get out, because being pregnant, as you mentioned before, I'm on stay-at-home orders indefinitely. And so if I go out, which I have to go out for my doctor appointment once a month, and then a few times I'll get in the car with my husband if he make a run and stay in the car with a mask, but I really can't get out and go in front of crowds. 10 or more people, I can't go. I cannot do that. I'm at stay-at-home orders indefinitely. That's a good thing because I'm carrying an unborn child. So do I care about being in a crowd or getting a baby sick that haven't been born yet? I just want to encourage you all. There are necessary things that you have to do. It's called life. Life happens. And when life happens, you have to be flexible to be able to submit to the change and say, you know what, this is my new normal. We're not having a vacation this year. We're going to have a staycation this year. And that's what me and my husband has made up in our mind. We are pastors, so our church have been closed for the last 4 going on 5 months. We have not had one service. We still have our church and our edifice, but everything shifted to virtual. Why? Because we care about people. We're practicing safetyness. We are okay with being flexible to our new normal. And so just receiving your new normal. I know that's not going to be easy, but you have to do it. You have to do it because do you want to be alive in 2021 or do you want to be a remembrance of who passed during 2020 because they didn't practice safetyness? And so
Okay.
I want to survive. Yeah. So yes, I would say that would definitely be something in the area of just having the preventative care and receiving the new normal would be something I think that we as a world can do better in and work on.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to me because I just see that there's so much around the world with psychological trauma and grief. And
Mhm.
I don't know, this letting down the guard, the fatigue. I don't know that it's necessarily that people don't care. I think some people could be in that first stage of grief where they're just in denial, right?
Mhm. Oh
Then
yeah.
there's people that are just angry. They're in that second stage, they're just angry. And there's other people that may be depressed. Like there's these different stages that you can witness around probably anybody and everybody in your life. You can identify that stage of grief within them because it's been so hard. And one of the
Mhm.
things that I think is really intriguing is that as we, as a globe, go through this pandemic, we are being forced to stop. We're being
Mhm.
forced to stop within ourselves. We're being forced to stop within the everyday life that we used to live. And part of being forced to stop is that people were so used to running away from things that they didn't want to face. So they would dive
Yes.
into work, they would dive into sports, they would dive into going out and spending time, you know, on an excess level, I guess, to a degree when you look at it comparatively to where we are today.
Mhm.
But that was their escape, right?
Mhm.
Now
That's
they,
good. That's good.
yeah, now they can't escape. So now they're being forced to face the shadows within
Mm.
themselves. And
Yes.
that's something that I definitely in all of my talks am hearing that this is part of the core of why people are hurting, right? Because they
Mhm.
haven't done the healing work within themselves. So
Wow, that's good.
I really see this time as a healing time. I know it
Yes.
feels like it's a broken time, but it's really a
Mhm.
healing time
It
for each
is.
individual person. So I love your concept of, are you going to go into 2021 as a remembrance, or are you going to go in, being alive and vibrant and well? And I love that idea because I think it helps to reframe the thought process. But my question to you is, how do you manage to shift those gears from escaping, right?
Mhm.
Escaping your own world, literally, because that's what
Mhm.
people were doing, is
Yeah.
escaping their own world. How do you shift the gears from escaping your own world to just being with yourself and being in your home the way that you are and working through that?
Yeah, I know for myself, I've used this time as a time, like you mentioned, to basically take another look at me. Am I, um, do I use my outgoing, have me being a woman that love outgoing define me? Have the church define me because I'm a pastor's wife? Um, what I do outside of staying home, is that what define me, or is there something more in me? Is there something deeper in me? And so I've utilized this time to take a deeper look on the inside of me, because really the only person I can really change is me. Now I can give wisdom and knowledge for other people to make a decision to change, but the only person I have the power to change is myself. So I've used this as a time to retract back and take another look on the inside of me and try to reinvent myself. How can I use this time to become greater? How can I use this time to, like you just said, heal from things in my past? Like, am I healed over things in my past? Did I really forgive that individual? Am I still angry? Do I still carry hate and bitterness in some of the things I've gone through? Because time is very crucial in giving you space to look inside of yourself and see who you really are. And like you said, sometimes we can define ourselves through our work. I can define myself by what I do. So, I'm a certified life coach. I'm a pastor's wife. I'm a mother. I am a wife, as I said. I'm the founder and CEO of Flavors. I'm the founder and executive director of Girl Talk International. I do many things. I have women conferences. I go to conferences. And if you're not careful, you'll be defined by what you do and not who you really are on the inside. And so for myself, I've used this time and I've utilized this time to really look deeper on the inside of me and say, okay, if I never did another flavor session, if we never went inside of a church building before, again, or if I never went to another girl talk session, who am I really? Does that really define me? Or is there something else greater on the inside of me that God wants to develop during this time of stay-at-home orders or during this time of pandemic? Like, it has to be something greater. And I believe that God has allowed the stay-at-home orders, as you said, for us to heal, for us to take another look. And sometimes, and I believe this, that we are not living our greatest life. Like, we could be in the box. We really are not exhausting our greatest full potential because we believe the hype that we are what we do. But there's always something greater on the inside of you. And so I've taken this time for myself to literally just really try to reboot and revamp and say, you know what, God, there's more in me. What else can I do? And one of the things that I've been doing is writing a book. I've always had a desire to write, but I was very, very lazy. I mean, just being honest, I just wished that I could think of it and God would write it all on pages and put a book together. But but to write a book is going to take work. It's going to take time. It's going to take money. It's going to take, it's different things that you have to give of yourself and sacrifice for that. Well, during this time of stay-at-home orders, I use this as an opportunity to birth the book that's always been there. It's been multiple books in me, but I utilize this time to say, you know what, there's no excuse. And so for me, the pandemic and this crisis that have hit the nation and this COVID have taken away all of my excuses. And I want to say that to those that are listening out there. You have, and I have, we have to be honest. We have excuses for everything. And our number one excuse is, I don't have time. Now that, the theme parks are closed, now that you can't go on that vacation, now that you can't go to your favorite store or your restaurant or those, some of the things that have been snatched from us, what it does, it places you in a realm of isolation. Now you do have time, but you have to utilize that time. And I want to encourage the listeners out there, don't allow this time to be a time of grief. And as you said so beautifully, that a lot of us, the fear of us being home is because we're afraid of ourselves. I believe that if you never took time out with yourself to find out who you are and your job defined you, but now you lost your job, it's going to be a scary movie at home to just face you. Because you've already defined yourself that I'm the CEO of this company. Well, the company closed. So, okay, are you still the CEO of that company since you've defined yourself as that? There has to be more to you than being a CEO of a company. And so I feel like that, just even as you have spoke so well, that we've defined ourselves as these different things. And now that we're home or we're by ourselves or we're in this closed-in place, we're more afraid of ourselves, and we have to get back to the places that we defined ourselves to. But a lot of those places are literally closing, and some of them are closing permanently. So for myself, speaking for me, everybody's different. And I definitely agree with also the mental illnesses that have run rapid. And we're not speaking of people that are going through depression and bipolar disorders and all of these different things that have hit that was already here. And then this have made it worse. That's a different category of sickness that needs to be taken care of. That's a complete different class. But for those of us that do not struggle with the mental illnesses, we, with a sound mind and a healthy mental faculties, should be able to utilize this time to be a better us. Those that are struggling mentally and psychologically and dealing with anxiety and depression, I pray for that group. I pray for that group of people, because they are suffering very, very bad, and they need the Lord. This is a time that I want to encourage you. If you're suffering out there, please see your doctor. Please make sure you're on your meds. Please do whatever it takes for you to survive this season. Whatever you have to, sometimes you have to up your dose of medication. Just being honest, you got to do whatever it takes for you to survive in this season. But along with that, you need the spiritual. Along with that, you need to make sure you're not isolating yourself from healthy people in your life, whether it's your mother, your family members. Let someone in your circle so that you can stay vibrant and alive in this season, and that you won't quit, because isolation is definitely not good when you're dealing with depression and anxiety and all of these things. But definitely, I hope I answered the question. I hope I didn't get off from the question, but yes, because you start talking and then you kind of get all the way somewhere else. But I'm trying to reel it back into the boat. I just know for myself, and I can only speak for myself, that I'm really trying to utilize this time to really, as you mentioned, redefine myself. Whatever I have to do, I know that I'm coming out of this crisis a better person. To say the least, very thankful and grateful for the life that God has given me in this season. And I want to encourage you to do the same. There's many things I've seen during this pandemic that I need to work on, really to be better, that I probably missed due to being busy.
Yeah.
So
I think that the busyness of the world has definitely distracted people from doing their inner work and their inner healing.
That's
and
good.
I love your commentary around, the different classifications of mental illness, because there definitely are different classifications. And I know for some people that may not have any history of mental illness, and this could include children, this could include young adults. This is definitely a time that has never occurred before. And wherever you are in your space, it is okay to be where you're at, but please, please, please get that support if it's needed, if it's, from a doctor or a psychiatrist or, someone who can give you the help that you need. But for people that may not need that kind of support, there is also other support that they can lean on. Like you said, your spiritual guidance. There's also other support with the connectedness. So connectedness is really, really important for all people. People need to feel that connectedness. And the church, as you know, is a great source of connectedness. Even if you're not able to physically show up, in person, just being in a community where everyone is sharing something together is being connected. So I would encourage people to look for the connectedness within groups of people that they can align themselves to and be part of. What additional to that do you think that spiritually, or even as a Christian as you are, what can you do to help you through this time? I do understand, though, and this is something I think is really important, that people do not count the days or not count the months, that they really do live in this moment today. They live in the today. Because I think as they tally up the days and the months, I think that's where some of the fatigue comes in, because they are looking backwards instead of looking forwards, right? But what other ideas would you have as far as natural ideas or spiritual ideas, things that can help people?
And you're speaking from the perspective of just cope during this time?
Right.
To be able to, a coping mechanism. Well, my coping mechanism is for something I've been doing. And like you said, with my faith as a Christian, very proud of my faith, thanking God for that. But what I've chosen to do during this pandemic, I use this as a time to get closer to God. So one of the way I get closer to God, I make time. I pray. I'm a person that pray, and I believe in prayer. Prayer works. Prayer changes not just anything, it changes everything. And I'm very proud of that. Like, prayer has been my lifeguard from a child. Like, literally, prayer have saved my life on many occasions, whether it was car wrecks, bad decisions, going through tragic situations in my life and family. Prayer has been the key for me. And so I'm always trying to give that golden key out to everyone and encourage them to do so. But what I've done is I turned my prayer life up during this time. And what I mean by that is, like I said, I'm a praying person in general, but to get up at a certain time, to take time out to go in my prayer closet, to just spend time with me and the Lord outside of just me praying throughout the day, because I'd spend time with the Lord anyway. That's just my lifestyle. But it is a difference when you take time. It's just like, for me as a wife, I know that my husband loves me, and I see my husband practically about every day, especially during this time of the pandemic. But it is a difference when my husband takes me on a date. I know he loves me. I see him, but if he take time out and say, sweetie, at 4:00, we're having a date. And even though right now we can't physically sit in any restaurant, but even if he said, babe, I've made this time for you. I need you to get dressed. You're going to be sitting in a car. It's going to be a curbside date. We're going to pick up something on the curbside, but we're going to just sit in our truck. We're going to be at the park somewhere. We're going to play our favorite song that we love to hear, our wedding song or whatever we did for our wedding. And I'm going to take this special time out just for you, to let you know that I appreciate you. How awesome is that, women, when we get that special space? It's not that your husband don't love you if he don't do that, but there is a significant difference when you take out time with the Lord and you say, God, you're so special to me. And I've had to, and this has been a sacrifice even more for me, because being a pregnant woman trying to get up and do that, I have way much more excuses to stay in the bed, because sometimes you're not feeling good. You just don't feel like getting up. I'm just being honest. Things may be uncomfortable. The bigger you get, the more comfortable it gets to lay in the bed or turn one side. You start cramping sometimes. But I have not allowed my pregnancy to be a excuse. So I get up. There's times I've gotten up, I'm so sleepy, but I get in that closet and I just sit there and I just wait on God. And I sometimes only physical, verbal words I've said was, Lord, I'm here. I'm here in this spot because you're special. And I said, I have no excuse not to take out time and pray to you. And because prayer is just basically communication with God. Someone that you love, you should take out space and time to spend more time with them. It's really doesn't take rocket science to figure it out. Who you love and who you deem to be special in your life, you should set aside special time for them to let them know that. And sometimes that's all I've been able to say is just, Lord, I'm here. I'm in this spot, and I just want to be quiet and be peaceful. I just want you to be blessed that I'm here. This space right now is for you. Speak to me. Deal with my heart. Circumcise my heart. My attitude. I get some bad attitudes at times. I'm just as human as anyone else. I bleed just like anyone else. Sometimes I'm not having my best days, but making that space for God, He's also made space for me to speak to me in that quiet spot. He showed me some things about me that I can work on with love, as a good father would do, define me, and have even given me some antidotes on what I can do that I would have never gotten during this pandemic had I not made space for him. So I want to encourage everyone out there to make space for God. It's just communication. You may be a person and say, I don't know how to pray. But if you know how to talk, that's prayer. Prayer is just communication. It's a request. And a lot of times it's not just always asking him for something, because I used to be that type of person that if the Lord heard from me, I was asking him for a favor. It wasn't because I just love him and he was just this wonderful God. I just was like, hey, you're rich. You can help pay my bills. Hey, you can fix my husband. He's getting on my nerve. You know what? You can help my kids. So I just saw him as the answer, not as a friend that I should go to and just be a friend to sometimes and respect and honor his presence. So I wanted to just encourage everyone out there that this is an algorithm that I practice, that I've used this pandemic, and it has been so refreshing to me. Sweetie, I'm sorry, I'm on live. Baby, I'm on live, baby. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Hold on, baby. Excuse me. So yes. So I have a 4-year-old. So he's coming in here. He came in the room. But yes. So I use that and utilize that as space to just get closer to a best friend. And for me, he is my best friend. And I want to encourage. The listeners out there to just take out time. And God knows what you're going through, especially for those of you that is struggling mentally and psychologically and emotionally. And you don't have anyone to turn to. You don't have family members to turn to. Prayer is really I believe is one of the greatest therapies you can ever have, because you get to express everything. I mean, be honest, even with a therapist, you're not going to tell the therapist everything. With a psychiatrist, you're probably not going to tell the psychiatrist everything. I mean, at the risk of being negative, there's still things you're going to hide from your shrink or people that you say are trustworthy relationships. You're not going to just share every detailed thing. But see, with me, because this is my best friend, I share everything with God. I'm like, God, I really have an attitude. I'm really not happy in this season. I went through some seasons in my personal life where I actually hated individuals. And I know that sounds really bad for a Christian, but you can be a Christian and have anger. You can be a Christian and be unforgiving, and you can be a Christian and deal with hate. It's not healthy. It's not good. But I was able to bring that to God and say, Lord, help me with this anger. Help me with this hate. I'm very bitter toward this individual. One of them was my father as a child, because my father was not there. My father wasn't there. So I wasn't able to, get rid of that bitterness and hatredness that was coming. It was more so bitterness with him. But because I had a confidant and I had someone I could go to, I was able to share that with him. I didn't share that with too many other people because it was just more inward secrets and private stuff I didn't want to let people in on. But I was able to express that with him, and he was the only one that could comfort me in that area and teach me as a God to say, you have to forgive and let that pain go. And so I want to encourage, the audience out there today that during this crisis, during this pandemic, this can be the greatest therapeutic session ever between you and God. Like, get to know your God. I know you know your boss. I know you may know your spouse. Well, some of us don't know our spouses. You may know your kids. You may know your neighbor. You may know your best friends. But how about making space for God and just letting God know how much you appreciate him creating this world, creating oxygen, keeping you safe even during the pandemic. Making space for him really changes the system. It really is a game changer in your life. And I'm just speaking for myself. I've been able to I'm so proud of myself doing that, because prior to this, I had a lot of excuses why I couldn't get in the prayer closet, or why I couldn't spend just private dates with me and God, just spending time with him. I was like, well, Lord, I love you. I'm still spending time with you, but it wasn't like that just private, exclusive moment with me and him that was set aside. And so I just want to encourage you even on that. And I don't want to sound too super spiritual, but I'm just saying that you can never have enough, you can never have enough positive outlets where you can really express what you've been through. And like, that's the place I go. I don't really try to put a lot on my husband. I think that even for the women out there, sometimes because we're emotional, we tend to go to our husband with an emotion, and they're not emotional beings. We are. So I've made a lot of mistakes in my past going to my husband with emotional issues. And the reason why I say I made a mistake is not that he can't hear me, but he's not emotional. So what's going to happen as a female, you're going to get very hurt and offended by your husband because he really did not give you that reciprocity back. Like, you pour it out emotionally to him. He's not emotional. So it's like, he'll be like, oh, okay, I understand. What he's going to do is try to fix it. That's what my husband has done. Like, and I know most women that I counsel, my marriage counselor as well, for over 20 years, have said the same thing. When I just pour out to my husband emotionally and boohoo cry, the first thing he wants to do is fix all my problems. I don't want you to fix my problems. I just want you to hear me and just love on me. But they're not emotional. Now, if you came to me because I'm an emotional female, I would probably give you that. I would probably like, oh my God, you can cry on my shoulder because I'm emotional. I relate with you. So the Lord had to teach me that, Rachel, your husband's not emotional. And I have to be very careful, because what happened is, because he's not emotional, you get offended at your husband. Now the enemy has brought offense between me and my spouse, because you weren't there for me. You just tried to fix me. So for me, it is a safe haven and a healing mechanism, because I'm able to go to God. And that's where I boo-hoo cry. That's where I'm like, God, I'm just a mess. I need you. This is what I'm going through, because I know he knows how to handle me. He's a chief representative in handling women with the emotions. He created us. So there's never been a bad time that I've gone to the Lord with all of my emotions all over the place, my hormones all over the place, that he have not soothed my spirit and met me where I was at. So yes, I just want to say, making that space for God is definitely another. There's many, many things you can do, but I'm just sharing with you. I like to be very relevant and, like you say, organic with the audience and what's working for me. It's not that it's not many things under the umbrella that work. It's just that at the end of the day, I want to be able to speak to you for where I'm effective and what's working for me right now. And I'm currently doing this, like, so much so to my 4-year-old. If I miss a day, because sometimes I miss a day, I can't go in the closet. We have plans. I have a meeting. We're doing things. I can't make it in there. I just do my regular prayers. My son will say, Mama, why you're not in the closet? Or my husband and say, you missed the closet today.
Oh,
So it's become a system that my family respect, and they understand that she's made a change, and she's made God very special in her life and made a space for him. Yes.
yeah. I think that taking that time to yourself and just having that space to work on you with God is beautiful. I know for a lot of people that just start getting into prayer, like you said, if somebody's not praying, they may feel like they can't do it. They may feel like they don't know how to do it. And to your point, I just want to reiterate, it's just a conversation. You can just talk out loud. You can also write in a journal. You could put your thoughts down in a journal and put your requests in a journal. The idea of writing, that automatic writing, is so powerful, because what most people don't realize is that when we go through any kind of significant events, our body retains that information on a cellular level. And just by taking the time to write and take it out of our body, we're actually helping our body to release that. And that's a beautiful thing, because it allows us to spare ourselves from holding on to that information within ourselves. So if anybody is looking for an outlet in prayer, or if they're just trying to figure out what to do next, one thing that they can do is automatic writing. They can set their clock for a few minutes, and whatever comes to them, they could just write that out and allow that to work through, and then come back, and many days later they could even look at their writings and see where they were at in that moment in time. But one of the things that you really talked about was this getting to know God. And I think in some terms as well, it's also getting to know yourself, because your requests to God are often the things that you need yourself that you may or may not recognize, and just building that relationship. But I think overall, it is so important that people recognize that there's lots of different ways that they can do things to help themselves. And I know with the automatic writing and the journaling, that is something that scientists have studied pregnant women that have gone through circumstances, whether their villages were destroyed by a hurricane or, some other circumstances that were pretty powerful. And the women that actually wrote, they had babies that were much healthier than the women that did not implement prayer and writing and these kinds of things.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it just goes to show you how much of an impact it can have on your body, just releasing that information. So as a pregnant mom, I'm sure there's pregnant moms in our audience that are listening today. What is some advice that you can give other mothers out there that may be scared or maybe are being fearful being pregnant during a pandemic?
Wow. One thing that I believe that we can do, for myself, I can't lie to you. It is kind of scary being pregnant during a time of pandemic. You could have never told me you would be pregnant during a pandemic and you would be in stay-at-home orders indefinitely. So first, I want to relate with you all on that I understand and can relate to you that this was not your dream or vision, to birth a child during a time of a crisis and a pandemic and a very possible deadly pandemic. If the wrong strand get a hold of you with the coronavirus, it could possibly be deadly or affect you and the child. That puts a level of stress on every parent, I believe, that's in the nation. And one of the things I've done for myself to remain mentally healthy and psychologically healthy and even emotionally healthy is try to focus on the positive things. So one of the things that's very positive to me that keeps me mentally stable is that I recognize who is the giver of all life. The giver of all life is the creator of all life. He is the one that sent these babies here for us to have during the pandemic. He's not crazy. He's not slow. He's not off. From the time that he understood and knows what the coronavirus is before man had put a name on it, he already understood the virus. But he did not stop or negate the fact that children would be born during that time. But think about it. The creator of all life could have stopped children being born in this time. So if there are children being born at this time, and they are, and I'm pregnant with one of them, there has to be a purpose even during the coronavirus. There has to be a purpose during the pandemic. And I believe these children have a special purpose. They have a special testimony on their life that you were born in one of the worst pandemics we ever had. You were born during stay-at-home orders. And not only is that going to be awesome testimony for them, but it also speaks of the God we serve, that God is a God of multiplication. And he did not stop beautiful children from coming during this time. So that let you know that life still goes on. To me, that speaks very loud from the Lord. Although death is occurring, although a crisis is occurring, although a pandemic is occurring, although a virus have ran rampage and many have died, but you have to remember there are many more people living than there are dying. This is just a test for our nation. This is just a test of our faith. This is just a test even with the scientists and the CDC, because you have to understand there are a lot of things out of order in America. And I believe that. I believe there's a lot of things out of order. And sometimes we don't know what's out of order until a pandemic hit. When the pandemic hit, America found out we were not prepared for it. That's out of order for a nation. That's equivalent to not being prepared for an enemy to take over this nation. If you want to have a safe nation, you have to prepare for the thief that's coming in the back door. If you want to have a safety house, you need to get ADT. My husband and I, we are advocates for the ADT system. We're now advocates of the ring system. We have both of them involved. We upgraded with both of these systems in our home due to our home prior to this. This now been about 10 years ago. We had a house break-in twice. We had someone break in our house before Christmas and take everything that was of value in our home with our kids. I mean, PlayStation, video games, VCRs, jewelry, pocketbooks, anything you could think of any value. They took it. They used our pillowcases to drag the stuff out. That was the first time. You would have thought that after that happened, we, as a husband and wife, would have paid the price of $35 a month to get ADT system. We did not want to make that investment for ADT. We just assumed that would be the only time somebody broke in. So what we did is we did have insurance and we did have renter's insurance. So at the time we were renting, we were buying now, but what we did is we got all of that stuff restored through insurance. Insurance paid for everything. We had brand new flat screens, brand new everything you could think of. And guess what happened? Because we did not use those funds rightfully over 10 years ago to get insurance over that house, that was out of order. So I'm making a point here. That was something we did that were out of order. We did not want to pay that extra bill because we were already struggling with our, bills at that time, 10 years ago. Oh my God, our rental was a brand new home. We had all these bills like, oh my God, another $40 would kill us. We just did not want to pay for our safety. Remember, we were talking about safetyness as well. We sacrificed that and we kept going. Well, a month after Christmas, after we got everything restored, all of our new Christmas stuff, the same thieves came right back in and they stole all of our new stuff that was restored, and they stole all of our Christmas gifts. The day we found out about that, we never stayed another night in that home. My husband immediately removed us from that home. Immediately, he had already transferred us to this. It was a really beautiful complex that may have been 10 minutes around from our house. The same day he got us in, the same day he moved us, we didn't spend another night in that home. And this is kind of where America is. Honestly, with America, you all understand and can feel this. America was not prepared for the thief. The thief is coronavirus. The thief is the sickness. We were not prepared, which means we were unprepared for a major pandemic. And so when you're unprepared for a thief, you're going to get robbed. You're going to have 200,000 people dying of a virus. You're going to have slow to no testing. You're going to have a large turnarounds for tests to come back. You're going to have negative or positive negatives. You're going to have crisis on top of crisis that hit because it's going to be profit over people. And that's what this nation is doing, because the nation chooses the economy over the lives of the people. And we see this every day, but it's because we're not prepared. And so when things are out of order, you're going to suffer for it. And so I said all that to say this: as a result of that, now, and it's been 6 going on 7 years, we bought a home 6 or 7 years ago. From the beginning, we purchased ADT. You don't want to know why we prepared it? Because we paid a price before when we were out of order. So now for 7 years, we never had a break-in. We never had anybody steal anything, because a thief that would think about doing anything to us is like, oh, they have ADT system. Oh, they have alarm system. And they'll choose 5 or 6 other homes around us. And most people in my neighborhood do have systems, but and so most thieves, we still have had thieves in our neighborhood, because guess what? They broke in our cars. We still have laptops, iPads stolen out of our car. We still, in 7 years, we still had people break in a few things. I think they broke in our car a few times. And a few other people in this neighborhood, there were some thieves that came, but they didn't break in our home, because we don't have ADT system on the cars. We only had it in the house. I believe that America will be better than they've ever been before. You want to know why? Because of the thief that have came in and stolen so much from our nation. Why? Because we were unprepared. So sometimes, it's bad. It's a bad situation happening to us, but it will be better for the next generation, because America did not know that they weren't prepared until the virus hit. Now, after we complete this and get the vaccine and be better prepared for another pandemic, we learn from our mistakes. And so I believe that through this crisis, there will be a shift in America. And I believe that America will be able to look back at this time and say, wow, we made a lot of mistakes. We did do some things right. We were unprepared. This is how me and my husband learned how to be secure in the new home. And so America is a country that I believe will be secure again. We will be great again in this nation. Financially, our economy will come up, but I believe we'll just be better prepared in that time.
Thank you. And I appreciate your message today, pandemic preparation. I'll say that again, pandemic preparation. And I just wanted to say thank you, because there's a lot of really great points that you made today, and I know you share them with your parishioners and the people that you work with. And
Thank you.
I'm hoping that the audience has gotten some really good information as well. And I have one more question for you. If I were to pick up your earth angel feather off of the ground, what would your message to the world be?
Wow, that's so beautiful. I love this program. It's so beautiful. Thank you again for opportunity. My message that I would pray would be that as far as putting God first, that's just what I live by. Remembering God, putting him first. Because if you put God first, it's because it's a protocol. It's like when you put the first thing in place, usually other things all get in place. If you put the head in place, the neck is in place, the shoulders in place. There's a protocol and an algorithm to how the body is ran. And so I would definitely say put God first and try to connect with him in a way that he would be able to give you your destined plan and call on this earth. And I say that because there's many things you want to say, but I would more connect with God and put him first, because to me that kind of speaks for everything. It's a lot that's under that umbrella of putting God first. But for myself, because I put God first, he began to show me, like he showed you, you're such a beautiful person inside out. God showed you what you're called to do. You were called for such a time as this. You would have never known that had you not made space for God to say, God, what am I called to do? And I'm doing everything that I'm doing now. And it's not because I'm this special, great person. I mean, through God's eyes and through God, I am great and special. But I'm saying it's not because I'm better than anyone else or the audience that's listening to me. It's because I put him first. And when you put God first, think about it. Everything is in your life. He's going to make sure it come together. And when he puts things together, he put those things together for you to be a help and a gift to other people. So I would definitely say put God first and remember the Lord. And if I could say any other thing than that, I would definitely say spend your life trying to be the best that you can be, because that's kind of what I think. Like I've made a promise to the Lord, and maybe I'm not wording it right on how I would say it, but I made one of the promises to the Lord. I meant this. It's a covenant between me and God that I want to spend the rest of my breath in my life helping people. And so that's why I would just say put God first and try to be the best you can on the earth to be a light to someone. So that's what I would pray, and that's what I would hope my beautiful feather would say in that area. It would give hope to the world and the nation to let's put God first. Let's find out what we're called to do so we can make this world a better place. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Rachel. And
You're so welcome.
For our audience who would like to connect with you after this podcast, you can reach Rachel on the World Wide Web, rachelwilsonministries.com. So thank you again so much for being with us today. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. God bless you.
Thank you. And that's all we have time for today. This is Catherine Daniels reminding you to live your authentic life with peace. And as always, retreat to peace. And we'll see you next time.